Life is full of contradictions. One of the most powerful and most misunderstood is the paradox of effort. The more you give, the more it gives back to you, but only if you give in the right way. Many people want the reward without the work, the harvest without the planting, the growth without the stretching. But effort is the bridge between you are and who you want to be. Here's the paradox: real effort feels hard in the moment, but over time it makes life easier. Avoiding effort feels comfortable now, but it makes life harder later. This is why so many people find themselves frustrated. They confuse convenience with progress, comfort with success. Effort, in its purest form, is not about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about applying your energy deliberately, intelligently, and consistently. If you can master this paradox, you'll find that effort stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a privilege. Let's explore 10 key truths about the paradox of effort, truths that can shift the way you work, think, and ultimately live. It's easy to believe that effort is the enemy of ease. After all, when you're sweating, straining, and pushing yourself, it doesn't exactly feel easy. But here's the twist: a consistent effort builds skills, habits, and resilience that make future challenges easier to handle. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. At first, every movement feels clumsy. You wobble, you fall, you get frustrated. But as you keep practicing, putting in the effort, your brain and body adapt. Eventually, what was once difficult becomes automatic. The same applies to business, relationships, health, anything worth having. Without effort, tasks stay hard forever. With effort, hard things eventually become second nature. Ironically, the people who avoid effort in the name of taking it easy often face a lifetime of harder situations, financial stress, poor health, broken connections. Effort is like paying for comfort in advance. You sweat today so you can breathe easier tomorrow. The paradox is that the more willing you are to work, the less life feels like work in the long run. We live in a culture obsessed with immediate gratification. We want quick fixes, fast food, overnight success. But the problem with always choosing the easiest option is that it often leads to the hardest consequences. Skipping workouts feels nice in the moment, until your energy drops and your health suffers. Spending recklessly feels exciting, until the debt arrives. Avoiding difficult conversations spares you discomfort now, until resentment builds and the relationship collapses. The paradox here is simple: what's comfortable now is often uncomfortable later, and what's uncomfortable now is often comfortable later. Effort forces you to face small, manageable discomforts in the present so you can avoid massive, unmanageable discomforts in the future. This is why self-discipline is really self-compassion in disguise. You're not punishing yourself by working hard, saving money, or exercising. You're protecting yourself from the pain of regret, the pain of being unprepared, and the pain of wishing you had started sooner. People love to talk about luck as if it's a magical gift that just appears. They imagine some people are born lucky, while others aren't. But the truth is, effort is the magnet for opportunity. When you consistently put in the work, when you show up, try, fail, and try again, you create more chances for something good to happen. You meet more people, you learn more skills, you stumble across ideas you wouldn't have found otherwise. From the outside, it may look like someone just got lucky. But if you look closer, you'll see the patterning. They worked long enough and hard enough for luck to finally notice them. Effort multiplies your exposure to opportunities, and opportunities multiply your results. The paradox: people who wait for luck often never find it. People who work hard often, magically, seem to have more of it. That's not magic, it's math. Effort is powerful, but only when aimed at the right target. Too many people burn themselves out not because they're lazy, but because they're busy doing the wrong things. You can row a boat all day with great energy, but if you're rowing in the wrong direction, you'll never reach your destination. Effort without clarity turns into frustration. Effort with clarity turns into achievement. This is why taking time to plan, to think, and to aim matters. The paradox is that a few minutes of strategic thinking can save you months, or even years, of wasted effort. Don't just work hard. Work on the right things. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause, reassess, and make sure your ladder is leaning against the right wall before you climb. We often put off the things we know we should do because they feel uncomfortable, tedious, or intimidating. But the tasks we avoid don't disappear, they compound. Avoid repairing a small leak in your roof, and you'll have to replace the whole ceiling later. Ignore a minor disagreement with your partner, and it might become a major fight. Postpone learning about money management, and you may end up in financial chaos. Effort is like maintenance. It prevents bigger problems from forming. The paradox is that an hour of effort today can save you months of effort later. The longer you delay, the bigger the effort required to fix it. Procrastination doesn't remove effort, it just multiplies it in the future. We often think of effort as something we do, but it's also something that shapes who we are. Every time you push yourself to follow through, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. If you consistently make the effort to learn, you become a learner. If you make the effort to keep your word, you become trustworthy. If you make the effort to stay healthy, you become a healthy person. The paradox is that identity drives effort, but effort also drives identity. Once you see yourself as disciplined, you're more likely to act disciplined. Once you see yourself as lazy, you're more likely to act lazy. Effort isn't just about results. It's about building a self-image you can be proud of. When you put in the work, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're changing yourself. We often underestimate the power of small, consistent effort. People think they need to make giant leaps, but the truth is, tiny steps taken daily lead to massive change over time. Reading 10 pages a day becomes 12 books a year. Saving $5 a day becomes $800 in a year. Doing 20 push-ups a day becomes over 7,000 in a year. The paradox is that big success rarely comes from big moments. It comes from small moments repeated consistently. A single workout doesn't get you in shape, but 1,000 workouts do. A single sale won't make you rich, but hundreds will. Success is rarely the result of one grand gesture. It's the result of steady, almost invisible effort that builds momentum until the results are impossible to ignore. Most people quit right before things start to get easier. They begin a new habit, a new business, a new skill, and after the initial excitement wears off, the grind sets in. This is where the paradox hits hardesting. The hardest part of effort is often the beginning. That's when your brain and body are still adjusting, when progress feels slow, and when you doubt if it's worth it. If you can push through that early resistance, you'll find that effort starts working for you instead of against you. Your skills improve, your efficiency increases, your confidence grows. The key is to expect that early struggle and see it as a sign you're on the right track, not as a reason to quit. Effort is front-loaded with discomfort, but back-loaded with reward. One of the most underrated rewards of effort is peace of mind. When you know you've done your best, whether you win or lose, you can rest easy. Many people carry the silent weight of, what if? What if I had tried harder? What if I had been more consistent? That regret eats away at your confidence. The paradox is that effort doesn't just increase your chances of success. It also frees you from the mental burden of wondering if you could have done more. Even if things don't go perfectly, you can stand tall knowing you gave everything you had. Peace of mind is one of the highest forms of wealth, and effort is the price of admission. Effort is not just about achieving external goals, it's about internal growth. The more you give to your work, your relationships, your health, and your dreams, the more you expand as a person. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you push yourself. Stretch your limits and demand more from yourself than you thought possible. The paradox is that while effort can be tiring physically, it is energizing spiritually. You feel alive when you're fully engaged, when you're chasing something meaningful, when you're contributing your best. When you give effort, you're not just building a life, you're building yourself. The paradox of effort is simply, the more effort you put in, the easier life becomes. The less effort you put in, the harder life becomes. It is a truth that rewards those who embrace it and punishes those who resist it. Effort is not the enemy, it's the doorway. Every step you take in discipline, in courage, in persistence, is an investment in a future you'll be grateful to live in. The question isn't whether effort is worth it. The question is whether you're willing to pay the price now to enjoy the rewards later.